Assalamu alaikum and hello friends. This is your host Ijaz Hussain. Today we have again with us Andrea.
Hello, Ijaz.
How are you?
Fine. Happy to be here again.
Thank you. I welcome you again in this show.
Thank you.
Today we will discuss about, as we have a lot of requests from the people that they want to know the citizenship process for Romania.
Mm-hmm.
So from the start until the end, we have to explain all the process.
This is actually my favorite topic. We have been constantly working for more than 4,000 clients right now in terms of the citizenship, different nationalities. So our main domain is definitely citizenship. Now I have to start this conversation by telling you that the legislation has changed and unfortunately is continuing changing. And I'm saying this with a little sadness because not only do the formalities become harder for everyone that's trying to apply, no matter the scope of the citizenship, but also they are more and more unpredictable, meaning today you know that there's a certain list of documents needed, tomorrow you find out the list changed again. Not necessarily, okay, you need to know the law, but in reality, what foreigner is constantly checking for the update of the legislation? So nobody is checking this. And I will tell you what happens. But to return to your question, you might know that in Romania, a foreigner can obtain citizenship through one of the following scopes. Either if he has a Romanian origin, meaning parents, grandparents, or great-grandparents were of Romanian origin. Now we have to discuss from the historical point of view who are these nationalities that might be eligible to obtain the Romanian citizenship through blood, because we had a lot of clients that were scammed, clients from India, from Pakistan, from Sri Lanka that had some financial possibilities. And they were scammed into believing that they had an ancestor that was Romanian. It's crazy. And they paid tens of thousands of euros to different scammers to have the Romanian citizenship obtained, and even had Romanian papers fabricated illegally.
Wow.
Yes, but because we are talking about huge amounts of money, think that this is like they are very good at what they are doing. But what I want to make clear...
So they are producing fake documents.
Yes, very. But think, how would someone from India, what are the chances that someone from India had a Romanian grandparent or great-grandparent, really, with a Romanian name? Okay, so they had Romanians' names. And from this point of view, I must tell that if you are someone from Sri Lanka, Pakistan, India, Africa, or whatever, Nigeria, and so on, chances are 99.9% that you don't have a Romanian ancestor.
Exactly.
So don't fall into the trap of believing scammers that you have Romanian origin. Check this with someone that is legitimate, that have a website, that are represented by lawyers and so on. Otherwise, you will end up paying huge amounts of money. And in the end, you will not receive anything because these companies operate for several years. And by the time they are asked to give some explanations, they are already closed. So pay attention to this.
So there is one possibility to get Romanian nationality. Is this that your ancestors
have
to be Romanian?
Yes, most of our clients that obtain citizenship through blood origin are for instance, Israelis, Jewish people, Turkish people, and we also have Moldovians and Ukrainians. These are the four categories that obtain from us Romanian citizenship by blood. Of course, if we are talking about the Jewish community, they are also in America, Canada, and so on. But the reality is that these are the nationalities that have a bloodline here in Romania. Not Sri Lanka, not Pakistan, not India, and so on. So you need to be careful. This is something that for most of potential clients from Asia is not possible. What is possible is either Romanian citizenship through marriage to a Romanian, but with several conditions that need to be met, or Romanian citizenship by request.
Let me get back to the topic in which you said that people can have Romanian nationality on the basis of ancestors. When I had the oath for a Romanian citizenship, there was one old guy, 52 years old, I guess. He was from Ecuador. And when, they have to take an oath by reading some Romanian things, he went to read by putting his hand on the book, whatever his religion was. Yes. He was not able to read what was written there.
Nothing.
And the person who was there, how you call that person?
Is the officer.
Yes.
But in most cases, is the president or the vice president
of that department.
Yes.
He was there and he asked him that, you do not know any Romanian, how did you pass the test? That guy was not even able to understand English. That guy was not able to understand Romanian. So he came with his sister. His sister was 60 years old, older than him. But she was also there in that room present. She said that I helped him
fill in and submit the file.
No. And the president did not understand what is the situation. That she gave the test for him and he passed it. He came here to take an oath. So it was a confusion in his mind that there is something bad. He said, no, you will not get the certificate. Go back to your spot. And then he asked the other guy who was helper there that go check his case. He went there in the back office. He checked. He said, no, he's getting his nationality by blood. So his grandfather was from
Ecuadorian.
Yes, so he was Ecuadorian. But he got Romanian nationality by blood without knowing even one word of Romanian.
We also have from Brazil, but there are very, very remote cases. So I'm not saying it's impossible. For sure it's possible, but remote cases, and you have to do your diligences and check prior to starting this process. And if somebody asks you for instance, 10,000 euro, 20,000 euro, or even 70,000 euro. This is the amount that an Indian was asked for to pay for Romanian citizenship by blood. He ended up paying 30,000 euro, which is crazy amount, because when we ask as lawyers the minimum amount, like let's say 3,000 euro, they say, what are you selling? And it's a huge difference. In the end, that guy paid this amount, obtained nothing. This is strange when somebody asks you for such a big amount of money.
Yes, there is a scam behind.
One client even asked, is repatriation also included? What are you doing for this money? It's crazy.
Second option to get Romanian citizenship is
by marriage.
But
this is the most common that we have, for instance, for Asian clients. Some of them get married to either a Romanian woman or to a Romanian man. And
no, not correct.
Most cases,
woman married with the Romanian man. And Romanian woman married with man, not...
yeah, you're right. Anyway, the thing is that through marriage, it's possible. Also, you have to pay attention to the conditions here, because, for instance, it's not enough for you to be married. You have to be married for at least 5 years. You also have to have the permanent residence permit, okay? You also have to have some income that you obtain here in Romania. You also have to have an accommodation contract, either rental or property or free of cost, but you have to have an accommodation. So there are several conditions to be met, and of course each case has its own particularities. So we advise them that prior to starting the process, they should check with the professional whether they meet or not the conditions to apply for the marriage, the citizenship through marriage. It's actually Article 8 from the citizenship law. And another thing that they need to know, and of course whoever obtained the permanent residence permit like you knows, that you have to know some Romanian language. Now it's more and more mandatory, becoming more mandatory. So apart from these conditions, you also have to know some Romanian to take not only the permanent residence interview, but also the exam.
Yes.
But they have time to prepare, let's be honest. And what I've realized, people that have been living here in Romania and they are married to a Romanian partner, most cases Asian people, they learn Romanian faster than other nationalities in comparison to the other ones that I've mentioned. The Asian people actually want and learned Romanian. Of course, not at a very professional level, but at least they can talk. You understand them, and some even know how to write, and it's very, very good.
You mentioned the exam of citizenship. I went through it.
How was it?
For me, it was very good because I gave day and night.
You studied?
Yes, I studied.
Okay.
I learned enough Romanian to speak, of course.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm here from long time. If I'm not able to speak Romanian, I should be dumb.
Yeah, you're right.
So let's come to the
exam
part. The people who do not know about it,
okay,
they never went through or never heard about it. Of course, they must be very curious that what this test contains.
Yes.
What is the material? How hard it is? What are the topics that they have to learn?
Of course, everything is published on the website of the National Citizenship Authority.
Nobody's checking.
We can also give them, if they ask on the email, we can also give them these materials. But apart from these materials, which are related to the culture, geography, politics, constitution of Romania, something of general culture, to say so, it's not enough to learn by heart the answers to the questions like it was a few years ago, maybe.
Yes.
Because now they are asking more details, like they want to see, do you understand what that question, the answer to the question means? And they can ask even more than the questions that are put on the list.
Of course, you know better than this, but let's say 9 months ago I passed the test. They do not depend only on the questions of
this is true.
Answer and questions. They will do the interview, proper interview.
Proper.
They will test your speaking power.
Yes, but not writing as far as I remember.
No, even writing.
Even writing now?
Yes.
So because, you know, for the permanent residence, you have to take the writing test. So as far as
this is recently added.
This is recently added. So writing as well. Yeah, because they added the B1 certificate, which is quite hard for someone that only knows how to speak conversational Romanian. They need to know more than conversational, like ce faci, bună, this kind of words, sarmale mici, bere, whatever they are learning, you know. This is what our clients maybe 8 years ago were learning. They went to Old Town, they went to different restaurants, bars, and so on, and they learned the traditional food or beverage, and this is what they were saying. But now things have changed.
Now the things have, you know, why these things has been changed?
I have an answer, but I am not, I don't want to give it. Tell me your opinion.
My opinion is that they want the people to
integrate. But of course, I have something to add. We are in Europe, European Union.
Mm-hmm.
As far as I'm concerned, if you speak European language, which is of international circulation, like English or even French, you shouldn't be asked to speak Romanian at such a level. I'm not saying nothing at all, but the conditions right now are not realistic. And I will tell you something that is happening for the files that we've already submitted. There's a huge problem. So, as you know, the citizenship law has been recently changed, if I'm not mistaken, during March.
Yes.
Nobody knew exactly when the change will occur. Of course, as you already are aware, it occurred over the night, and clients that have either submitted their citizenship files or on a process of submitting their files we had to give them the news that a new certificate of language has been introduced. Now, think about these people. When they started the process, they were not aware of this change, of course, because it entered afterwards.
Yes.
Now they are asked to submit the certificate of language in 1 year from the submission date. Okay? Those that had the chance of submitting the language certificate prior to the change, God bless them, they are without any issues.
Yes.
Those that for different reasons were not able to submit their files prior to the change, let's say March, but only afterwards, they have 1 year to submit this certificate. Months passed and nobody knew where to take this certificate.
Exactly.
But the time passed, 1 month, 2 months from the 1 year of the clients that they had to submit this certificate. And even now, it's only the institute, the Romanian Cultural Institute, that provides this kind of certificate. Think about the following. They have classes that start next year. Okay? In January or March 2026, and the course will take a lot of hours. What will happen to the clients that submitted their citizenship file in January 2025 and their time frame of submitting this certificate will expire in January 2026?
Yes.
Who's going to reimburse the client for the time he spent gathering the documents, the money he paid to the lawyer? Because this is not my fault as a lawyer that the law changed, okay?
Yes.
So I did my part. I helped him. He submitted the file. And from my end, everything is finished.
Complete, yes.
But if we are talking about moral, it's not... It's not okay for the client. He has to redo the process, okay? This is true. But think that the client came. Not only did he pay for the lawyer, for the documents, for the apostille, for the translation and legalization, huge amounts of money. He also came from different countries, maybe America, Canada, Israel, Turkey, and so on. He came here in Romania. He left the job for a few days. So he maybe wasn't paid or he had to take leave. Then he took a hotel, airplane, food. He spent a lot of money, more than the money that he paid to the lawyer. Yes. And it's under question mark. What will happen to these clients that they have to submit their certificate in 1 year when the main authority that is releasing this kind of certificates is in impossibility to do this? So from this point of view, we are always thinking for our clients, and we are going to go to court against these authorities because it's not realistic. I'm not saying they shouldn't have given a specific time frame of submission of this kind of certificate, but as long as you don't have very clear who's the authority, who's the institution releasing the certificates, which is the time frame in which a person can obtain them, then it means that you put in an impossibility of submission of such a certificate. A lot of clients that submitted their files from March 2025 until when the courses are released by the institute. So all these clients in this gap are in impossibility of submitting the certificate. And this is for those that never went to school here in Romania, because according to the changes, if you have been to school here in Romania, you can provide the diploma of going to school. But how many of them did go to school? So it's not realistic. It's, as I always say, these laws are made by people that are staying only in offices. They never know what practice looks like. They don't understand the logic behind it.
Yes, plus they just took the shape of some other nationality
Yes.
processes. For example, Germany requires this kind of certification.
Yes, but at least those made it in a more transparent and more predictable manner. This is the problem. So I'm not against changes. You should know Romanian language to integrate and so on, but at a certain level, like basics. Okay? If you take a look, just by curiosity, at the exams proposed by the Romanian Cultural Institute, I would guarantee that, I'm not saying some Romanians, not most, but some Romanians wouldn't pass that test. Never. They are using words that even Romanians don't know what is the equivalent. You understand? So it's very subjective, and I'm very ashamed of such a project being entered into force.
Plus, just imagine that the questions that they ask for the citizenship, ask in the street, those questions, a normal Romanian businessman.
They don't know. Even myself. I'm not excluding myself. There are questions regarding history, geography, culture, constitution. Some I remember, some I don't remember. Does this make me less Romanian? No.
Of course not.
Would politicians answer those questions from the Romanian Cultural Institute, and I guarantee that half of them wouldn't pass.
Half of them?
I'm trying to be very, very diplomatic.
Generous.
Yes.
When I passed the test, those questions that I got in the test, I wrote them in my phone after getting down from that room. Then those questions I sent to some people. Romanian.
And just by curiosity to check.
Honestly, they said that, what is this?
Exactly. But I am confessing to you that I don't know how to answer most questions.
Yes. And there are 12 questions only.
Mm-hmm.
Out of 12 questions, probably I got one answer in which that Romania is indivisible state.
Okay, good. Maybe he put it by chance.
Other than
Only
that-
luck.
Yes, other than that, nobody knew anything.
It's a sad thing. So what I'm saying is that the law changed without any logic. It created such a mess. It created discrimination. It created prejudice.
Since you mentioned this word discrimination,
Yes.
I'll tell you why. Since many people have also been rejected to get the permanent residence here in Romania.
Yes.
To be very honest, I'm with the state.
Of course.
Being a Romanian, I'm being...
Do you think that I'm not?
No. I didn't say that you are not, but the thing is this, that, for example, you are giving a permanent residence to somebody who is considered to be half Romanian, right? He cannot just vote. Rest, he has all the rights to
Yes,
be
he has all
Romanian.
the rights and
Obligations other than
Politic.
he
Vote.
cannot vote,
Yes.
right? What do you think? A country is choosing you to give those documents and you are dumb, and country will accept you as a dumb person? I will put you in practice by putting you this question, that would you accept a dumb husband?
If dumb means stupid in the sense of illiterate, like he doesn't know how to read, and so I'm not liking necessarily the word dumb, but I understand what you are saying, meaning no, I understand, you want rights.
Exactly.
You have to put some effort.
Exactly.
I fully agree.
For example, you have your standards, right?
Yeah.
You want somebody to be in your life with the same standards, right? That will meet at least 90%, let's say.
Yes, of course.
In the same way, Romania said that, okay, these are our standards. Meet them, get the permanent residence.
With the permanent residence, I am fully agreeing with you.
Yes. In the same way, nationality.
With the citizenship, I would agree if this change wouldn't have happened over the night, if they would have covered these transitional clients of ours and of other professionals that have already submitted their files, right, after the change, but they don't have where to take the certificate from.
Yes, for example, for this, I have a very good suggestion. For example, I studied in Polytechnica. In Polytechnica, there are teachers who are teaching students once per week, Romanian language. And they are from October to February, and then March to June. There are 2 sessions, and in those 2 sessions, government can make a contract with them, and Polytechnica can issue them the certificates.
But Polytechnica is something very, very high here, even for Romanians, not only for foreigners.
No, for language.
Yeah, for language. Anyway, it's very good. And I fully agree. So I'm not saying that the people that want citizenship don't have to speak Romanian. But it's one thing to put them to speak Romanian language in the sense of seeing how they handle a conversation, talking about them, about the weather, about food, about where they stay, what they do for a living, and so on. Basics. And is another thing to put them to describe a text from the grammar point of view, or to try to use synonyms, antonyms, like something that's very hard for even Romanians that don't necessarily have a high standard of grammar.
Yes. Just imagine that when I had to read something from one paper during the test, and I had to explain them in Romanian, what does it mean?
Yeah. I understand.
You know, what I had to do, I had to read those sentences and explain them in my Romanian, whatever my level was. That, okay, it was one
but
story.
It's to make a short or to translate or
yes,
what?
to translate into my normal Romanian, whatever my Romanian level is. On the base of that Romanian, they would judge me if my Romanian is good or not.
I think it's too much.
Well, if you compare with the other European countries, the nationality tests, I guess it's nothing. because I heard from many people the stories. There, it's
Of
very
course,
difficult.
German is very hard, but Portugal, Spain is not that hard. So it depends in the end with what country we compare ourselves. Do we
Yes.
compare with Germany? No. Do we compare ourselves to Portugal and Spain? More.
Well, at least keep your standards high.
Yes, keep them very high. But you can keep them high as long as they are clear in a transparent manner and they don't create either discrimination or prejudice. And now they are creating both discrimination and prejudice.
Yes.
At least for these people that have already submitted their files after the change and they can't obtain the certificate anywhere from, even if they want to start learning Romanian language.
Yes.
My
Or-
opinion.
Yes, or they can do like this. For example, I submitted the documents after that time period. Once that was put into practice, they can give me 2 years to complete, because normally it takes 2 years to complete their process until the interview comes, right?
Yes.
So they can start, okay, from 2025. They will have appointments in 2027. So they should present their certificate before that time period.
So we are talking about two different categories of clients. Those that will submit in due time so that they can obtain the certificate, meaning they initially start learning Romanian language, they take the certificate and then start the citizenship process, totally fine with it. I cannot say anything. This is the law and it applies and we respect it.
Yes.
But what happens for the clients that have submitted after March 2025? They have only 1 year to submit the certificate.
Yes, for them they should extend the time period to 2 years instead of one, and then that next year that they have complete year, in that time period they can have the certificate.
But you know that the documents also will expire because the documents have to have a validity of less than 2 years. So you have to restart everything from the beginning.
No, you can resubmit the documents.
Yes.
Update.
Yes.
Update,
But,
actually.
new money. Again, you have a new expense.
No, you submit the documents on the same file.
No, on
that
the
you
same
have.
file, but you need to obtain new apostille, new legalization, new translation. So I'm talking about another expense that you
Yes.
have to take. Anyway, because we are in this domain and we have been seeing constantly changes after changes after changes, I'm a little maybe too drastic when I'm talking about this. But not only us as professionals, but also the people that have Romanian origin. Listen, according to the Constitution, by blood, if he had a parent or a grandparent, and I'm not talking about Article 11 with great-grandparents, I'm only talking about Article 10, which is parent and great-parent. According to the law, you are considered by blood also a Romanian citizen, but without papers.
Yes.
And think about the following, that a few months ago, January for instance, or even last year, you could have done what we call short process, meaning transcription at the town hall.
Yes.
Even after the grandfather. So if you had a grandfather, he was born in Romania and he never lost his citizenship, meaning his citizenship status remained Romanian until death. That meant that his ancestors, grandchildren, could have easily went to the town hall and did a birth registration.
Yes.
Transcription, but transcriere for
Yes,
those
in
that
Romanian.
don't necessarily know, and immediately obtain in a few months the Romanian papers, which from my point of view is in full accordance to the legislation and to the Constitution. Because this right is given by blood, is not conditioned, like in the case of citizenship by request or citizenship by marriage, okay, where you can condition the citizenship by multiple things. But here you have a right by blood. And if we are thinking from the historical point of view, these people, their ancestors were in most cases, if not all cases, stripped out of their citizenship, not voluntarily, but by because of religion, because of war, because of different cases. So they did not abandon their citizenship by their own will, and their next in line should obtain the citizenship based on the fact that they had a grandparent or a parent that was born in Romania.
Weird case that I saw
Mhm.
when I was on Daoth. One woman surrendered her passport for Romania, got
Okay.
a nationality where it was not with dual nationality
Germany
contract.
probably or Israel.
I do not know. And then she came back again
Mm-hmm.
after 25 years,
Mhm.
and she was taking the oath again.
Very good. It might happen, but we also
But
had
the same
cases-
person who...
the same person.
Yes.
Yeah, but yes, and I will tell you what happened. There were people. So these are not the people that I was talking about
Yes.
because those were the people that were prosecuted for different reasons under different regimes. So for those people, I'm talking that it used to be possible that they obtained the Romanian papers even after a grandfather.
Mhm.
Afterwards, out of nowhere, just to reduce the number of people that submit this kind of files, they decided that whatever was valid is no longer valid. So you can't obtain now Romanian papers after grandfather, even if he was a Romanian, had still Romanian status when he was dead. You have to do after the parent.
Mm.
And what happens if the parent is dead? End of story. You have to go to the long process.
Yes.
They punish you for this. They punish you because your Romanian side parent died.
Yes, they punish you actually.
It's a double punishment. Not only did your parent die,
no.
but it's also a punishment that you will not be able to do the short process.
See in the other way. See with a different perspective.
What?
The other perspective is this: the person was so lazy to do those things.
But listen, okay, I heard this multiple times, but my opinion, okay, who are you to judge? This is why the government or the legislator thought about the following. If you are on Article 10, it ends at the second degree of kinship. If you are on Article 11, it ends at the third degree of kinship, okay?
Mhm.
So this is a natural possibility to end the line.
Yes.
So when you say they were lazy not to take the citizenship, I'm saying that this is already covered naturally by the second and the third degree of kinship. So if one of his family members was lazy and didn't obtain, at some point his family members will not obtain. But because he is on the second degree of kinship or third degree of kinship, the law allows him to obtain the citizenship for his family members. Why do we have to create another condition which is in contradiction to exactly what the legislator thought of?
Or probably the interpreter is not understanding it properly.
Me. No, I am understanding it exactly how it should be.
I'm just joking.
Yes, but you know why I'm so revolted against this? Because in the end, put yourself in their shoes. And now I'm talking about those that lost a lot. They lost their properties. They lost their papers. They lost a lot of things. So I'm not saying that they should not speak Romanian language, but I'm also saying that we should treat them as they are, meaning our relatives, okay? So those that have a Romanian origin, they are also Romanians. And they are not less or more than we are. So we shouldn't treat them differently.
Well, the state, whatever they are doing the things in such a way to avoid scams. You know this, right?
To avoid scams.
To avoid scams that people cannot take advantage of the system.
Can I tell you something?
Yes, sure.
Daily, we used to receive emails from people that were scammed. What we did? For the citizenship authority, for the immigration office, when we also saw that there was a permit that was fake, we always sent emails or requests. Look, this is a scam. Look, this is a scam. These are the companies doing the scam. This is what we found out. How many responses did we have from the Romanian authorities to this kind of situations?
How many?
None.
Surprise me.
None. Is there any interest into finding scammers? Maybe, but those that want to find scammers are too little to survive the system. I think they are working on this, but until now, nothing happened.
But as far as I know, that now the system is very strict.
Yes, it's that strict that now there is no workforce being brought to Romania. Companies are dying slowly, and nobody is thinking about the Romanian employers. Nobody is thinking about the fact that they need workforce and that the Romanians cannot fill the job positions. And from this point, what we've done, we drafted a memorandum that we are going to send to the immigration office in terms of changing the legislation for foreigners that are already here in Romania. Because we've noticed the following gaps. For instance, you consider a foreigner once he comes to Romania and you register his labor contract the same as a Romanian in terms of his rights, okay? And obligations.
Yes.
More or less. But these are mainly the same things. When a Romanian employee decides to terminate his contract with the Romanian employer, he has a notice of 30 days.
Yes.
In that notice of 30 days, not only is he allowed to find a new job, but he's also allowed to sign an offer.
Yes.
That means that for the Romanian person, he's covered in terms of today he ends the contract with one employer, and on Monday he starts with another employer. He doesn't have gap in between the contracts because the law allows him. What is this law in the same way applicable to foreigners? No. What is the legislator doing? I'm telling you. He's not allowing the foreigner to obtain a job or to apply for a new job during the notice. He's not allowing it because one of the documents that the foreigner is requested to apply in the immigration portal or website is termination of contract.
That's easy.
Exactly. So you are not allowed. In most cases, you need to find a job after the termination of the contract. Or even if you find a job prior to the termination of the contract, you cannot start the procedure. What happens is that now, and I'm only talking about the candidates that are already here in Romania and they have valid documents, okay? What happens is that they are not allowed to work for more than 3 months in between with the exchange of employer because the procedure nowadays takes 2-3 months to obtain new work permit, and only then you are registered the contract and then do the residence permit. It takes 2 to 3 months. It takes. Who is providing for that person during this time? I'm telling you what's happening. On the in practice, either they are working illegally, la negru, as we say, which we totally discourage, but in the end they are forced to do this because they cannot support themselves. The salaries are very low. Who is going to provide them for accommodation and food? Nobody cares. Okay, so for 2-3 months, these people, in their wait for the new documentation, they are forced to survive by themselves. They cannot work legally, they cannot receive money, they are not paid for accommodation, and this is creating a lot of abuses from our point of view. And the immigration office should think that the legislation that's currently in force is very old, is not applicable. Have you ever read in the legislation that regulates the immigration activities such as work permits, residence permits about the portal? Do you know what's the regime of the portal? What's the, how can I say, the importance of the appointments that's made on the portal from the point of view of the law? There is nothing to link the portal to the law, okay? To the law that's applicable to work permits, residence permits, and to many more activities.
Because different teams are working on different departments. They do not communicate with each other, and there is a communication gap between them. So whatever they think is better for them, they're just putting it there.
So what I want to say is that the Romanian employers that not only suffer from the fact that nowadays the percentage of rejection of visas in the embassies is almost up to 90%. which is mind-blowing because they pay for work permits, they pay for taxes to the government, okay? And when these candidates go to the embassies to take the visas, they face rejection, 90% of them, and you don't have the possibility to appeal these decisions. At least not with a positive resolution in any way, because they are subjective, okay? Like they say, there is a suspicion of fraudulent entry into the country. Who can prove this is not a suspicious entry into the country?
Yes.
Or multiple things. I'm not saying all of them. Maybe who doesn't speak English? Okay, don't bring him. Don't allow him to obtain the visas. But my question is, how was it possible that last year they were accepted 90% of them, and this year only 10% became accepted? You know, it's strange. And it's all in the sense of Schengen and to show how much we are limiting. But this is harming the Romanian employers that lost business. They lost entire lines of production. They lost clients. They lost income, and they don't generate as much profit, meaning they don't pay that much taxes. So in the end, it's affecting also the government. And we thought, okay, so you affect the Romanian employers in the sense that you don't allow foreigners to come in the same time frame that they used to come. And now you are putting more than 8 months. Who's waiting 8 months for a person? We even had cases where people died or changed their minds in this process, okay? Nobody's waiting 8 months for a person to come.
8 months and then 1.5 years in the country where they have to get the visa. So 2 years complete process these days.
These days, yes. So we thought, okay, a solution for our Romanian employers is that they need to take people that are already here, that they have a valid document, they want to earn more, which is a human right, okay? If you are hardworking and so on, you should be allowed to change jobs and be paid more, no matter of nationality. This is what non-discrimination means, right? And what they are doing is they limit the access into the workforce domain, even for the people that are already here. This is the sad part, because they should be allowed to apply online for the work permit exchange of employers during the notice. They would gain 1 month this way.
Yes.
Okay, and this would make a huge difference, because it's one thing to put a person to wait 1 month without being paid, and they should be able to support themselves. It's another one to put them 3 months or 2 months. That's why we have so many illegal people here in the country or working without legal papers.
Yes.